We'll start on our backs. Have your strap handy and your bolster. Okay, so these are my favorite kinds of classes to teach because I enjoy just these low to the ground, relaxing yoga sessions myself. I practice this way usually a couple of times a week just because it's so calming to the nervous system. And really is grounding. So as you're here, either knees bent or straight, whatever you're most comfortable with, just feeling the ground underneath you, letting your body be heavy. Just kind of imagining dropping your bones, giving a message to your muscles to just let go of the bones and allow the bones to just kind of sink and soften in the muscle, intending towards the muscles that they let go. So for a moment, focus on the back of your hands, and I'm assuming you've got your arms rolled out so that the palms are up. It's the most relaxing position for your shoulders. May not feel comfortable if you're not used to that. So if you don't have your palms up, then focus more on where your arms meet your back. And just let that area, just tune in to that connection of that area to the ground. And see if you can make it sink more. And if you do have your arms turned up or out, also feel your elbows sinking. And imagine you have little weights in the palms of your hands, and the back of your hands are sinking. And then tune into your breath. On each exhale, just soften your belly. Let your low back lengthen. Go inside and consciously look for places where there's a sense of tightness. Sometimes we don't really know what we're looking for, but I would just say look for any spot that just feels kind of dense, like it's hard to penetrate, it's hard to get through with your conscious mind. Those are usually places where we're holding. So when you come across those spots, breathe there, really exhaling into the spot. See if you can feel a change. And I would notice the stomach muscles first because our stomachs are places in which we tend to hold a lot of tension just unconsciously. And then that tension flows out to the rest of the body. Really try to relax on your exhale through your whole belly and let that spread out through your limbs. Then we're just going to roll over onto our right side and pull your knees up into your chest and bring your hands together. If you don't have a blanket under your head, you may want to do that. You don't have to keep your legs together, but if your knees aren't together, you may want to put a blanket between your knees. Just softening the right sideways. So we're going to take the left arm and we're just going to sweep it up. So the arm is by the ear, fingers on the floor. And then just let your arm get heavy on the side of your head. Now, that sounds really simple, and it is simple, but it doesn't mean that it's going to, feel necessarily good or comfortable. So let your back round a little bit if need be. Try not to hold yourself in any kind of rigid way. And then from your head, begin to just on your exhale, press your head, turn your head to the left, moving your arm with your head. So rather than moving your arm, try to just move your head. Each exhale, turning your head a little more to the left. Now you're going to get to a place, obviously, where you can't turn your head any further. And your arm is resting by your head. So on your next few exhales, go ahead and continue bringing the arm all the way until it's out of the shoulder. Let your legs, knees separate a little bit, and let your ribs turn all the way to the left. Now, this is a pretty big stretch right off the bat. But just take your time and breathe here. Try to relax your low back. Let your knees come apart, but try not to just roll your legs open. If you need to, place your right hand on the top of that left leg to hold it down a little bit. Feel that stretch in your belly, maybe in your hips. And then bring that left arm up by your head again, head still turned to the left. Now use your arms, turn your head, and roll back onto your right side. And just put your hands together again. So we're going to do that again. Each time we do it, we'll do it 3 or 4 times. Each time you do it, see if you can open a little bit more. So when you're ready, bring that left arm over and lay it on the side of your head, over your ear, with your fingertips hopefully touching the floor. Use your head to turn. And when you've turned your head as far as you can, then bring the arm to shoulder height. And relax. It's a big stretch. Notice where you feel it. Notice if it kind of takes your breath away. And take some intentional breaths if you need to. And then come all the way back. And then again, bring the arm by the ear or over the ear. And then go ahead and turn the head. And then open all the way. See if it's getting any easier. Keep your knees pulled up. If you can, beyond a 90-degree angle at your hip, but rather close up to your ribs. Let your back round. Let it turn and round. Now begin to straighten your left knee. Stretch your left leg up towards that right hand. You can grab the right hand. If you can grab that foot with your right hand, do that. And just relax your shoulders. Relax your neck. And now turn your head back to the right. Feel the whole stretch. Whole posterior chain of the body. Really getting a nice opening. And if you're really tight and cold, this will take a little while for your body to warm up to, but just keep breathing with it. The breath warms you. You may want to take deeper breaths than usual. You may want to extend your breath. You may want to breathe out through your nose a little bit. Through your mouth. Notice places where you're gripping and holding. And then let your left leg bend again and come back to the starting position. This time, keep your right arm right out of the shoulder, but bring your head onto the inside of that right arm. So you're rounding your back more. And then roll onto your back. Just feel that right side. Cross your right leg over the left. Keep your arms out, T position, and then drop your knees over to the left. Turn your head to the right. Relax your left side waist. Now bring that right arm up by your head and just kind of stretch your hip and your arm away from one another. Elongating your left side. Your right side. And then slowly bring everything back to the center and uncross your legs. Find the middle of your mat and go ahead and stretch your legs out now. Separate your legs as wide as your mat. We will do the other side. I'm not forgetting that. I'll let go of your shoulders. Just feel the whole expanse of the front of your body. And then now bring your arms more into a goalpost, but with the elbows straight. So kind of making a big X with your body. Now press your low back down into the floor. You'll feel your pubic bones kind of lift. and drop towards your navel. So feel those front body muscles engaging while you are intentionally trying to stretch the lowest part of your back. Now take an inhale, hold that position. And as you exhale, pull all of your limbs, your arms and your knees into your chest and grab hold. Round your upper body up towards your knees. And breathe here. And then on your next inhale, re-expand. Open up the whole front body, expand through your arms, through your legs. Your back may arch now because you're really stretching your front body. And then try to connect your low back again to the ground, feeling those belly muscles contract. Take an inhale, holding that. Exhale, pull everything back in. Grab hold of your legs, round yourself up. A few breaths. And then open up again, all the way into that star shape. Reach your heels away from your fingers. And then on your next exhale, collapse. Keep the shape, but just collapse, let go. And then and only when you're ready. So I'm not trying to hurry you here because this feels pretty darn good. We're going to roll now onto our left side. And just pull those knees in. And stack your arms out in front of you. And then bring that right arm over your head, resting on your ear, hopefully fingertips to the floor. And then as you exhale, turn your head to the right. Go as far as you can. Kind of keep pressing that head to the right. And then just bring that right arm all the way over until it's at shoulder height. And breathe here for a few breaths. Feeling the intensity, what may be resisting. Feel any resistance and see if you can soften a little bit. And then bring yourself back where your head's over your ear. And then bring it all the way back to the starting position. And then take that arm just over your ear again. Turn your head as far as you can. Trying to push your arm to the right. And then go ahead and bring it all the way out. And then coming all the way back again. And stay here and take a few breaths. Relax your left sideways. And do that again. Just you know how to do it. Just do it on your own. Get as much opening as you're able to. Notice where you feel it the most. And then sweeping yourself all the way back. And then roll over onto your back with your knees bent. Cross your left leg over your right. And drop your knees over to the right. Relax your arms, turn your chest, really your whole trunk back to the left. Turn your head if you can to the left. Relax that right hip. I just realized that I forgot to do something in the last pose. So when we come out of this, we'll do the other piece of that pose that I forgot. And so come back onto your back and uncross your legs. And then go back over, all the way over onto your left side with your hands together. Pull your knees way up. And then one more time, open all the way out to the right. And just try to get your head in line with your tailbone. Now start to stretch that right leg, reaching the foot up toward your left hand. Relax your stomach muscles. If you can't reach your foot, maybe you can reach your calf. You could use your strap, although it's probably not handy at the moment, but grab hold of some part of your leg just so the leg muscles can relax rather than gripping to hold the position. You can always tell the poses that I love the most because I have a hard time coming out of them. So if I'm staying longer than feels good to you, by all means, go ahead and come out. And we'll all come out of this now. So rather than bringing your arm back, just rebend that right knee and just roll your lower body back onto the mat. And stretch your legs out, stretch them out as wide as your mat. And let the legs relax. Okay, so go ahead and get your bolster. And just put your bolster vertically on your mat. And by the way, if you don't have socks on and you happen to have them handy, feel free to do that. you're not gonna really need bare feet. So then sit in front of your bolster. Oh, and I would either have your blocks or a couple of blankets, especially if you're tight in your shoulders. I would have something to put under your arms. I'm just going to use blankets. So you may want to put blankets just out to the sides. And so with the bolster, I want you to put the end of the bolster right at the bottom of your rib cage. Okay. And then just go back. Now, you may also need something under your head. So, if you do, take that. And then lift your pelvis up and pull your tailbone towards your heels. And then take the supports that you have there for your arms and make them at whatever height you need them to be in order to, allow your chest to open and relax. So turn the arm bones out as much as you can. You do want your arms a little lower than your chest, just so you get that good stretch, but some of us are so tight in our chest that even just opening the arms flat out to the side can be, a pretty good stretch. So you find the stretch that works for your chest. When you get everything set up, if you want to straighten your legs, you can. The idea here is to just really be as relaxed as you can and to feel, the enjoyment of having your body supported and to observe the effect of this on your breathing. So at first you may find yourself, with your breath a little shortened just because you're not used to having your chest so open. But as you relax a little bit, hopefully you'll find it easier to take a deep, full breath. So rather than trying to breathe way down at the navel, take your breath in and out from the very center of your chest. So as you inhale, letting the chest, actually opening the chest to the ceiling. As you exhale, relax your low back, relax your shoulders. Of course, you're welcome to keep your knees bent if there is any discomfort in the low back, but hopefully there's not, because generally if you have your bolster underneath your ribs and not your low back, usually the low back has enough room so that it can, just stay nice and open and not overly extended in the lowest part of the back. But if that's not the case, then you can keep your knees bent, or you could lift your hips up with a blanket or a block. Now soften your forehead flesh. And as you exhale, see if you can kind of get a sense of there being a drop from your forehead down through the nose, down through the bridge of the nose. Gonna let the chin drop. Not so much that you block your breath at your throat, rather soften the throat, soften the shoulders. Just noticing as you stay here a little longer that hopefully it's feeling really nice, relaxed. So we're going to go from this into a supported child's pose. So go slowly. If you're still feeling tightness like in your thighs or your ankles, use your blankets, either one underneath your ankles and one between your hips and your heels. If you need that or want that. Otherwise, just come into child's pose when you're ready, pulling the bolster up between your inner knees and then folding over your bolster. If you've got your head turned to one side, try turning it to the other side. And then coming back up, let's move our bolster out of the way. And we'll come back to lay on our right side. And this time, take your right arm underneath your ear. Pull your knees up. And then just stretch again that left leg straight out in front of you. So the knee is straight. Use your left hand and arm to support you. And then let's make those big arcs, taking the leg as far back behind you as you can, and then swinging the leg forward again. Keep your spine relaxed so that it can respond, because you're moving your pelvis, and just like cat-cow, when you move your pelvis, the rest of the spine follows in a very predictable way. So you don't want to block that, because it will block how far you can take your leg back. So we're trying to take the leg back, good distance, which means the upper back needs to be able to round a little bit and rotate in the opposite direction to the leg. So really allow that to happen, even encourage it, and see if it allows you to get any more stretch in the front of that left hip. Then when you're ready, take that leg back, leave it back, and take that left arm diagonally in line with the left leg. So that wasn't exactly what I meant. Make the leg and the arm a diagonal slash from the rest of your trunk. That may have made even less sense, but I think, we've done this plenty of times. Relax your neck and head. And try rolling your left thigh in. So you're almost turning onto the top of your left foot. And then come all the way back to the starting position. And then we'll do the other side. And on to the left side. And stretching out your right leg. And when you're ready, again, swinging it back and forward. And when you're ready, just holding it back. And reaching that right arm up to the left in a diagonal. And remember to try to roll that right side of your pelvis and your hip in, not out. Relax your low back. Try to relax that left hip. And then bring everything back to the starting position. So our psoas muscle is considered to be our fear muscle because it is the muscle that when we're frightened contracts to help to protect the front of your body from danger, your vital organs. So when you do those deep psoas stretches, if you're carrying any fear in your psoas muscle, you may get a sense of a deep quietening, kind of a sinking in a good way, though. So just notice that for yourself. I know I carry a lot of fear in my psoas muscle all the time. And so I always kind of have a visceral experience of a release and a relax and a letting go that feels amazing. Okay, so let's get our bolster again. This time, put it horizontally across. And we're gonna put our front ribs now on front edge of the bolster. And you can either, maybe your elbows will go to the floor, maybe not. So you can either, if you wanted more back bend, and it all kind of depends on the length of your torso. I'm very long in my torso, so I have lots of space between my vertebrae. So it makes it much easier for me to do deep back bends. But if you happen to be more short-waisted, then sometimes just a little bit of a back bend can, be uncomfortable. So, you could also stretch your arms out in front of you and reduce the amount of arch in the back. I would also turn the toes under and kind of pull your legs out of your pelvis a bit. And then release the tops of your feet back down. And then just find a nice bit of spinal extension that, just is the right amount for you. And when you get to that place, draw the arm bones back and your shoulder blades down. Don't let your shoulders come up to your hips, because we did a lot of opening of the chest earlier. So we don't want to close the chest off. So try to widen across the chest as you hold yourself in this cobra position. And then we're going to push ourselves back into a supported child's pose again. So just coming up under the knees and turning your bolster vertically, and just come forward. And then let's go ahead and come up. And now you'll need a chair. And Erin, I don't know if you have yours handy, but if you don't and you have to go get it, get both of them. Okay. Okay. So get your chair. And we are going to use two chairs, not for this particular thing, but in a minute. So just have the second one handy. And then take your bolster and put your bolster in your chair seat. Okay, so we're gonna do just some easy forward bends. I want you to be able to rest the hairline on the front edge of your bolster. So if you know you're tight, then I would suggest that you maybe get blocks to put under your bolster and raise it up a little bit so that it's not so extreme. And then from there, if that's still not high enough, you can, add blankets. But just, get your props up high enough that you're not bending your knees or rounding your back, okay? Okay, so we're gonna just start with the easy forward folds. So take your legs as wide as your mat. And if you feel slippery or whatever, then you want to take your socks off. Well, then it looks like I'm the only one that put on my socks. So you're good. So turn your feet in, make sure your outer little toes are not going outside of your mat. In fact, I would pull them in a little bit more than the heels. From there, bend at your hip creases and just put your fingertips on your bolster. And then just kind of rock back, taking your hips back behind your heels, and then rock forward where your hips are forward of your heels. Do that a few times, just kind of feeling out where you may be tighter than usual. I mean, I know you know where you're tight. Kind of move your hips as you're going back, maybe to one side, so you stretch that leg a little more. Really push the hips as far back as you can to stretch that hip. So when you push it back really far, you kind of quit stretching your legs and start stretching your hips. And then go straight back. Now, if you can come down onto your forearms, come down onto the forearms. Just be there and kind of feel the legs. Hopefully it's not real strong to the point of discomfort. Just kind of feeling those first stretch sensations. Breathing, giving them time before they let go. So just takes a little time and it gets a little softer, a little easier. Let's go ahead and bend the left knee and just push that right hip back. And then change sides. And then again, right down the middle, pushing both hips back. And then if you try to rest your hairline right on the front edge of your bolster. So it's not your forehead, it's higher than that. And then take your hands to the front legs of your chair and just gently pull down on the legs of the chair a little bit. Feel that in your shoulders as well as your legs. Nice, easy breath. Try to pull your pubic bones back between your legs. And then take your hands back up to your bolster and press those arms straight. Walk your feet together and then stand up. I am going to take off my socks. So now take your right foot forward and your left leg back. Put the heel on the floor. And with your hands again on your bolster. Elbows straight. Roll your back thigh in. Roll it in as much as you can. Did I say to separate your? Yeah, okay, good. So keep rolling that left hip in, left thigh in, but keep your outer foot down. And then again, come down onto the forearms. So big stretch in the back leg. So take your time. Before you go any further, as you keep rolling that left leg in, pull your tailbone down towards the left heel and pull your spine forward out of the crown of your head. Now that's the position you want to hold as you go lower. So see if you can put your hairline down onto your bolster without it causing you to change anything below the waist. And then if you can, when you're ready, grab hold, front legs of the chair, just gently pull down. It's not real hard, just enough to kind of encourage a stretch across the upper back and in the deltoids of the arms. Keep that tailbone going towards that left heel. Both thighs roll in now. You want to stay to the outside of the left foot, but the inside of the right. Okay, so take your hands back up onto your bolster. Now pull your your chair closer to you. Okay, so you're gonna turn your trunk and your shoulders to the right and put your left shoulder, excuse me, on your bolster. Now take your right hand on top of the left hand. Now work your legs, get your legs doing what they were doing. So I think, okay, there you go, Erin. Don't let your head just drop down. Keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. Now inhale, take that right arm up towards the ceiling. So you're on your left shoulder, right arm goes up. Now pull your right hip back. Reach that right arm overhead and find the back of your chair. Now roll your chest open any amount more. Maybe your head will go to the bolster. Keep pushing your hips to the right. And then untwist, come back onto your forearms. And then up onto your fingers and step forward. Whew, that was a deep stretch. Did you feel how much more you got into that right hip with that twist? Maybe you weren't feeling it at the time you were doing the pose, but after you come out, there's a big stretch all through here. Okay, so here we go on the other side. Left foot forward, right leg back. Not as much cueing on this side. Take your fingers down. Remember to roll your thighs in, but push to the outside of the right foot. And come down onto your forearms. And then if you can, come on to the very, your hairline. And either keep your hands on your bolster or take your hands to the front chair legs. Pull down gently. Remember to pull your tailbone towards that right heel. And then come back up with your forearms on your bolster. And then pull your whole crop set up a little closer. Because we're going to come onto the right shoulder. Make sure you continue to press to the outer right foot. Don't roll to the inner edge. And then put your left hand on top of the right. And then bring that left arm up. Push your hips to the right. And then if you want, you can reach back with your left hand, find that outer corner, take your elbow up towards the ceiling, and kind of pull it back to get a little rotation in your chest. Upper back tends to be really tight. And then release. Come back onto your forearms. And then up onto your fingertips. And then bring your legs together and stand all the way up. Okay, so now is when you need your second chair. You don't need your bolster, and you want to put your chairs where, you know, they're more like audience chairs. So the back of the chair, of your first chair, is to facing the seat of the chair behind it. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, good. Okay, so now stand between facing the chair that you have that's to your, the back is to you. Put your hands in the seat of the chair in front of you. Now take your right knee, put it in the chair seat behind you, and put your foot up onto the back of the chair. So Erin, when I'm using a chair that doesn't have any push to it, I usually put a blanket or a piece of a mat. And I don't know, you may not have a piece of a mat, but it's too hard on your knee when we come up. Okay, so from here, bring your hands up onto the sides of the chair. Now, it's up to you how high up you come. I encourage you to go to a point where you're feeling a nice stretch in front of your right thigh. Try to get your right knee as close to the front edge of your chair as you can so that it's not so far behind the other knee. That will make it a little easier. And from here, I want you to just think about what you know and how it feels to be in mountain pose. And try to bring your body into mountain pose as much as you can. And notice as you kind of adjust the tailbone, lift the front of the body, etc., how it changes the stretch. So Erin, push your foot that's back there on the back of the chair more towards the edge. I don't know, let's see, I think it would be more to your right. As your right foot, if it's your right foot that's up on the back of the chair, is going in towards the middle of the chair instead of the side of the chair. Now go the other way. Other way. Yes. Now bring your knee, your right knee, closer to your left leg. You've got your legs too far apart. So it should be like this.
My leg's not long enough to go over, even with the blanket under my
And put a
so I can't put my feet,
put a
my
block
foot over the back and bring my knee
put
forward.
a block under your knee. Put a block under your knee. But see, you want your knees close to one another, not way out. Okay, because that is very harmful for your hip. Okay. Now, come back to your hands in the seat of the chair. To come out, make sure you pull your knee forward. Don't take it out to the side. Put it back on the floor. Stand up. Just feel the difference on that right side. And then come forward again. Left side. And then walking up as you feel ready to do that. And then working with your knowledge of mountain pose.
Slowly come out. Okay, get 2 blocks and your bolster. Turn the chair you're not sitting on around. And put your blocks. You can put them on whatever height you want. I usually put them on the long, narrow side. And then I'm going to put my bolster on top of that. I'm going to get fairly close to that bolster. And then I'm going to come into Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. And press your pelvis towards the front edge of your chair and pull your feet back towards you as much as you can. And then with your hands back there on the back of the chair, kind of, you know, you can bend your elbows. I like to pull them back to open my chest. And then sit nice and tall. Draw the elbows down away from the shoulders. Relax your neck. Don't overarch your back. Relax your inner thighs. Now take one hand and just reach towards the seat of the chair in front of you. Try to maintain your long spine. Just bring your fingertips onto the front edge of the chair. Keep relaxing the inner thigh and rolling from the inside of your groin to the outside of your groin. And then start to walk your fingers back a little bit. Keep your shoulder blades down. Now, we're all different in terms of our abilities to, you know, do certain poses in certain ways. So for some of you, this forward bending in Baddha Konasana may be very easy. For the majority of people, it's not, certainly not for me. So I want to just remind you to keep your pubic bones lifted and kind of pulling back, resisting with the top of the front of your pelvis. So pull that back as you walk your arms forward. And then see if you can just put the palms of the hands on the back of your chair, letting your ears come between your arms. Gently push down into the top of the back of the chair. Gently push down to get some length in your spine and to keep you from going too far back in your pelvis. Try to keep your neck long. Walk your hands now to the sides of your chair and pull down and elongate your spine as you go forward a little bit. And then bring your hands back to your chair seat. Push up. Now leave your left leg exactly as it is. Take your right leg and stretch it forward into the chair. Now turn to the right and grab hold of the back of your chair with your right hand. And then reach towards the top of the back of the chair of the chair in front of you. So reach with your left arm towards the back of the chair, right over where your foot is. Walk your right hand to the left corner of the back of the chair. Turn your trunk to the right. Try to get some length in your spine, elongate, elongate, reach through the crown of your head. Now bring your right hand to join your left and start to go forward over that right leg. Keep reaching beyond your foot. Relax your shoulders. Maybe you can relax your elbows. Allow your left leg to turn out, particularly the lower leg. Feel like you're rolling onto the top of that left foot. And then just come back up. Bring that right foot to join the left. Sit up tall. And leaving the right leg where it is, stretch that left leg up into the chair. Allow that right leg to roll out, the lower leg. You want it to roll towards the top of your shin bone, rolling more onto the top of the foot. And then turn towards the left and grab hold of the back of your chair with your left hand. Then reach for the back of your second chair with your right hand. Now turn. Keep walking your left hand towards the right side to turn your upper chest. Keep breathing and elongating. Now, as you get to whatever you consider to be your full rotation and reach, let go with your left hand, bring it to join the right, and start to go forward. Keep letting your right leg turn. And then you may find it nice to just put your elbows on your chair seat and round forward. Let your shoulders relax. And then slowly come back. Bring your feet back together in Baddha Konasana. Now push your hips way back towards the back of your chair seat. Feet are still where they were, but now reach forward. You'll probably find it a lot easier to take your hands into your chair seat. And just slide forward as far as you comfortably can. Feel that deep inner thigh stretch. And then coming back up, sitting all the way back up. Stretch the arms overhead. Bend your left elbow, grab hold with your right hand, lift it up and pull it back. Press your shoulder blades forward, pull your ribs back. And then stretch both arms up, bend your right elbow, grab hold, pull up and back. Really lift the chest, collapse in your front body. It's very tempting when you have your arms like this. And then both arms up, release your arms. And then bring your knees together. And take your bolster and pull your second chair right up to you. And just set your bolster between your thighs with the upper part resting against the back of your chair. Lay forward and let your belly rest on your bolster. Make sure your feet are under your knees and not behind your knees. And it can feel nice to take your arms and rest them on the back of the chair along with the bolster, or they can just rest down. It's just really up to you. Turn your head to the other side. And then come up and just move your chair, one of your chairs, out of your way. And just put your bolster in front of your chair. And if you want something for your head, have that handy. And then we're just going to put your hips up onto your bolster, roll back, and put your lower legs in your chair. And then arms by the side. And just letting go. Now, at some point, and you can figure this one out for yourself, at some point, it'll be a good idea to pull that bolster out and lay flat. I'm going to end the class informally today. So that means that you're on your own to bring yourself out in a way that allows you to hang on to whatever peace, calmness, openness, however much of that you've been able to generate for yourself, so that you can move into your weekend several steps ahead. Energy-wise, hopefully mood-wise, peace-wise. So we're not ending the class, but let's do together, bring our hands together at our heart. Thank ourselves for taking this time. May we have faith to know the divine enriches us, invigorates us, is present with us throughout our day.
And then just releasing your arms out to the side. Feeling the heaviness of your body. So wishing you a great weekend. And I look forward to our next time together. And just remember to come off of the bolster and lay flat for at least a minute or so before you completely come out. That will really benefit your back. Okay, namaste.